Well, I figured out that one of the benefits of DMSO is that it takes away unwanted body fat. In other words, fat that goes and deposits itself in places where it doesn't belong. If we just put on fat distributed across the entire body in a normal way, then it doesn't show up as weird bulges here and there. For instance, I've had, older ladies say to me, "Oh, all my weight goes to my butt," or it goes to their breasts. I know somebody, it goes to their belly, but it only goes halfway. It goes down to his waistline and stops, and below that, no fat, nothing to hang over, and nothing to stick out. It's very strange. Me, everybody thinks, "Oh, you're so skinny, I wish I was like you." No, don't say that. You don't know me. My fat goes to my liver, and it doesn't belong there. So it shows an uneven distribution of fat deposition because of some kind of mistake of the physiology. Who knows what it is, and making it, peculiar in each person. Now, if I had to take a guess, I'd say it's parasites that are the reason why the fat will show up in one place and not more so, or not at all in some other place, more so in one place than another. And I think it's because parasites are saying, "Hey, come on, we want the fat here with us. We want it around us. We're here, we don't want the fat over there." And I think that's what the DMSO does. It gets rid of the parasite and gets rid of the fat that goes where it doesn't belong, and so that when it can be stored, it goes where it should go and, evenly distributed. I mean, we don't have fat deposition in the brain, you wouldn't want it. So why does it end up in the liver? You gotta wonder. I hope we don't have fat deposition in the brain. So that's a speculative testimonial on my part, because my first experience with DMSO that was very extreme was when I was swimming in a public pool at a Parks and Recreation Park Department outdoor swimming pool. And because it was outdoor, a very large pool, they had to overly chlorinate it. And I was taking DMSO orally at the time, like once a day in the morning or something. I'd make up a lemon water mixture, put it in a nice glass, not a plastic container, but a glass. And then I was doing this for several days ahead of time, and then I started going swimming. And after a couple of days, around the second or third day, I noticed, wow, I feel weird. I feel like vulnerable. I feel like vacuous, like I can see right through myself. And it was like the most bizarre thing in the world. Well, the chlorine in combination with the DMSO was burning away the body fat. And I think it's going to happen anyway with the DMSO by itself, but not to the same degree. I think that combination is very powerful. So I don't use it per se anymore because I've overcome my addiction to wheat products and wheat flour and gluten. So I feel, okay, that's enough. I don't want to overdo this, because you can start feeling pretty weird when you overdo this procedure of DMSO combined with chlorine in the form of Clorox, let's say. But I made a lot of progress that way. And I still take DMSO every day, and I've learned to stabilize it with MSM. Or not learn, but I recall. Because the company I get it from, they literally leave a space, and it's exactly it's an 8-ounce clear glass jar with a black paper label, and then the light printing, in contrast on top of that black background. And there's exactly the right amount of space to fill up the remaining space in the bottle. It's a clear glass bottle, 8 ounces of DMSO, with MSM crystals, so that it's fully saturated. And that helps stabilize the DMSO somewhat. I mean, DMSO is very unstable, so what can you do? You can't make it totally stabilized. But it does help, because DMSO wants to break down into MSM and DMS. And what is it doing when it does that? It's bifurcating itself. It's going to extreme opposites. Some of the DMSO takes on an oxygen molecule and becomes fully saturated. And in the course of doing so, that oxygen is taken away from other DMSO molecules that give up their only oxygen molecule and become DMS, stinky DMS. They're the ones that impart the foul odor and foul taste to DMSO, is the presence of DMS. So I think there's an oxygen transfer from some of the DMSO to the other DMSO, causing the oxygen deficient DMSO to become DMS, and the fully saturated oxygenated DMSO to become MSM. Because the whole point of DMSO is that it's one molecule short, one atom short of oxygen, and it has an empty placeholder there, and it wants to fill it with something, anything, preferably oxygen, but anything else will do just as well in many cases if it's a lightweight molecule or atom. So if we don't give it something like chlorine or iodine, in my case, my two recipes, it'll hunt for something else, plastics. It'll dissolve plastic and unite with a plastic molecule. Not something we want to do. Or oxygen, which is the default condition for DMSO to latch onto a free oxygen atoms. Think of oxygen radicals. Free radicals are lone oxygen atoms. So DMSO is a scavenger of free radicals, namely lone oxygen atoms, and becomes MSM. Anywho, I think that covers everything. Yeah, I wanted to cover everything. So that covers everything that I wanted to say.